Okay. So welcome everyone again to the last session of our Women in Automation program. We are today at the very close of our program. So we're closing the program today with a very special session, a technical session, AI and automation for everyone. A bit about the program first, in case you want to go back and review the past sessions, you can always go back to the program page. I will share it again in the chat, and you have all the recordings there to go through the past session and learn and be inspired by the women speakers we had in this program. So we started about 2 weeks ago with an inspirational panel, Women in Automation 2024. This was a bit more about career and personal stories, a very, very nice session. And then we started with the technical sessions, Get Your Career Started in Automation, presented by our MVPs, Priya Darshini and Tracy Dixon. Then Document Understanding and Communications Mining by our colleagues, Priya Kanan and Soumya Rajan. And then again, Priya and Tracy with Exploring Career Paths in Automation. And today we are very lucky to have with us my colleagues from UiPath Romania, Alina Capota, which is Senior Manager, Technology Services, and Teodora Baciu is the Product Manager. And I will now let Alina and Teodora say a few words about themselves, as they will be your mentors today. And it's always interesting to see the profile of the mentors. And very important to know is that this is the second time they are joining the Women in Automation program. Alina and Teodora were also with us last year, and they really wanted to come back and share this experience again with you with a different session. Hello, Alina, Teodora.
Hello. Hi, everyone. It's very nice to be here again. I'm happy to be joined by Teodora in this session. We are going to discuss about AI and automation for everyone, which is a very hot topic nowadays for UiPath and not only. I am part of professional services team. I lead a team of 5 developers, and I'm very excited about AI and automation. I'm also part of the Autopilot for Everyone effort. And now I let my colleague Teodora say a few words.
Thank you, Alina. Hello, everyone, again. Maybe some of you were also last year here. I'm happy to join Alina in this year to have this combo session, let's say. I am part of the product management team now, but I used to be in the same team as Alina for a few years back in professional services. And I hope we can show you today what are the newest features that we're going to introduce in our product related to AI and automation for everyone.
Thank you very much. And now I think I will switch screens with you, Teodora, so we can start the session.
Sure. Okay, I hope you can see my screen now.
Not yet, but let's wait a bit. Maybe it takes a bit of time.
I'm going to try resharing it. Actually, my Zoom blocked my mouse. Okay, let me try again.
Yes.
Okay, I think now it's visible.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so thank you for the introduction already. We are both together here to talk about automation for everyone. In our agenda today, we'll have a small introduction about AI, Autopilot, and automation for everyone. I'm going to talk about Autopilot for developers, so what AI and how AI can help in UiPath, the developers and the development in general. And then Alina will step into and she will talk about Autopilot for everyone, not only for developers. And we'll have also a demo on how to build your own Autopilot automation. So before actually starting, my question is there anyone here who already knows anything about Autopilot and our initiative with Autopilot in UiPath? Anything that you might know works? Okay, I can see someone in the chat. Okay, Ruby said in the chat, what do you know about Autopilot, Ruby?
Hi, actually, I
Great.
have explored a little bit about Autopilot. I was using Autopilot for creation of code and applications as well, UiPath app.
Oh, nice. Great. Yeah, so Autopilot is an initiative which we are introducing in most of our products. You'll see today that we're introducing Autopilot in the Assistant, in Studio Web, in apps, and there are more to come. So Autopilot is our generative AI which helps, and we hope it will help the developers to create workflows, to work easier with our products, but also citizen developers, business users who just want to consume automation. So the first thing that I actually want to show you is how we can use Autopilot for Studio Web workflow generation. This is something that is going to be added also in Studio Desktop, but today I'm going to showcase you what we have in Studio Web. Maybe some of you already tried it because it's general available, so you can play around with it and try it for yourself on our cloud platform. So let me show you what we can do now in Studio Web. So I would just want to create a small automation. And of course, I don't want to start from scratch. I just want to have someone help me to create my workflow without me being, let's say, to have to put all the activities together and so on. So what I can do is I can access Studio Web, and I can go here on New Project, and I can choose the option to generate with Autopilot. So what I have to do now is that I have to put a prompt here, and I will click on generate, and then we're going to see some of the activities that are automatically generated by Autopilot. So let's take it simple. Let's do our classic unicorn name here. Unicorn name, this one. So I want to use this website and I want to create an automation which will generate my unicorn name. So what I want to type here is that I want to generate my unicorn name from this website, and I'm going to put the website here. And I want to send an email to myself containing the unicorn name. And I want to do this via Outlook, because I want to be specific. Good. So I wrote my prompt. I'm going to click on generate, and we'll wait for Autopilot to generate the activities that are needed to complete this automation. So I have a manual trigger here. I have a use browser which will help me to create and generate my unicorn name. We have an activity here, generate email. We'll see if that is needed or not, and the send Outlook email containing unicorn name. So I'm okay with this generation. So I'm going to click on continue in Studio. And now I can actually edit the workflow. Of course, it's not going to be out of the box, because imagine the fact that I'm a developer. I want to use Autopilot to help me start from something, not from scratch. But I still need to do some configuration, of course. And the first thing that I can see here is that I have first of all, the trigger, which is very specific to Studio Web. When you start an automation from a manual trigger, this will be prompted here. And then I have the use browser activity already generated for me. And the only thing that I have to do is also to select which is actually the tab that I want to automate. And for me, it's this one. It identifies the tab as being already open. And the next thing that I want to actually show you is how we can generate activities using UI automation inside of Studio Web. So remember, I already told to Studio Web what I want to do, but as you can see, the activities are not yet generated here. But Autopilot is very smart. It knows already what I want to do. And the only thing that I have to do is click here on generate. It will open the browser, making sure that the browser is actually, and the page is actually open. And it will try to create the activities here. I'm not touching anything, as you can see, automatically for generating my unicorn name. Okay, as you can see, I have the type into activity, select activity, and the click on get unicorn name button. So I can see the activities generated here, and I have the option to discard or to confirm these activities. I can see I have a type into, a select item, and the click on get unicorn name. I'm okay with that. I'm going to confirm these 3 activities here. But I want to also add another activity here, and that would be generating and actually reading my unicorn name. As you can see, the unicorn name is not yet visible. So what am I going to do now is that I'm going to pause the selection. I'm going to type here the name and the birthday month, and I'm going to generate my unicorn name. And now I would want to prompt here the last step that I want to be generated, and that would be to get the unicorn, because now it's visible. I'm generating this, and I hope that Autopilot is going to be able to generate the actual activity that I need. As you can see, it also generated the previous activity. So what I can do is that I can remove the ones that I don't want, and I can keep only the extraction of the unicorn name, which was generated. Now I can confirm also this. I can save it. And now all the activities are going to be generated in inside of Studio Web. Of course, now what I can do is to configure, if I have something very specific to configure. I'm okay with the flow as it is now. So the last step that I want to do is, of course, to send the email to myself. I can see there was also an extra activity which I don't actually want to use, so I'm going to delete this one. Probably something in the prompt that I gave generated this. And the only configuration that I have to do left here is to put my email address to which I want to send the email. The subject, as you can see, it's already pre-configured, like the unicorn name. The body isn't. So another thing that I want to show you today is how we can generate content for our expressions or for our actual text content inside of Studio Web. So for example, in the body here, of course, I can type something that I wish would be prompted inside of the body. But another thing that I can actually do is to go here on See More, on the Open Expression Editor. And here again, I can describe what I want to put in the body. And let's say I have a lack of imagination today. So what I want to say here is something like create a nice short message signed by the unicorn name. And let's see if this can help me. It created automatically a message like hello and the name of the user, have a magical birthday month, and best, of course, signed by the unicorn name. So I'm going to save this. And I think we're also ready to run this automation. So let's test it. And meanwhile, I'm going to open my email to see if the email is actually saved as a draft in the first place. Of course, that in the expression editor, we can do more complex things. We can do things like generating or extracting data from text, from different kinds of variables. You can do regex expressions, anything that you would want to extract, or it was very or more complicated to express before that, and you would need a lot of expressions. A lot of code to be put in there. You can just explain it into words and it will create the expression for you. So the automation ran. So I'm going to go into my drafts here and I should be able to see my email. Okay, I can see my email here. The name is John and January because I didn't configure it differently than it was by default. But the thing is that this worked. I received the email with the text, which was automatically created by Autopilot. So we have these super nice things. One, the generation of the workflow. The other one is the generation of expressions inside of workflows. Another thing that we're going to have is that you are going to be able to generate smaller workflows inside of a pre-existing workflow using the same generation tool. So if you already have a bigger project which is created, you can actually create smaller workflows inside of it by using the same tool. And the other two things that we're using, for which we are using Autopilot for developers, is to generate code in the coded workflows. So in Studio, for example, let me put Studio here. Let's say we would want to add here coded workflow. And let's imagine that here I would just add a comment like send email method description. And I'll put another comment here. This method sends an email to the specified email address. And what I want to do now is to actually generate this this method. So I'm going to select this text, right click, and say generate code. I have the permission to change the prompt if I want to, but I will let it like this. And I'll wait for Autopilot to generate the code inside of the workflow. So as you can see, it created the actual method here for me. Of course, the more details I put, the more complex the method will be inside. I can explain what I want to do more specific inside of the workflow and so on, and of the method and so on. So that's the third thing that we're introducing. And the last thing that we are introducing with Autopilot is studio coded test coded generation. So we're introducing these capabilities inside of the test suite that we have. What you can do is that you can automatically, similar to what I just showed you, creating to create workflows like this. You can, or coded workflows like this, you can generate coded data sets for test suite. So from just the prompt, you can create automatically the tests. So we have these 4 things that we are going to put in general availability soon. Some of them are already available. With Studio Web, you can already work. You can use our Autopilot in Studio Web. As I said, we are going to have it also in Studio. It's available in the cloud, so you can also use this generative AI inside of apps, if you're familiar with that. So it's available in our cloud platform. It's going to be available also in Studio. So make sure that you follow all the newsletters that we have and try it out. Tell us how it's been for you. If you have any kind of feedback, you can put it on the forum, and we'll wait for that. Any questions related to these 4 new things that I just showed you? Okay, let me check the chat. Okay, so if there are no questions related to this, or if you want to keep the questions for the end of the session, that's all from my side for the moment. I'm going to let Alina share her screen, and thank you for joining, and thank you for listening, and good luck with testing Autopilot in Studio Web and in Studio.
Thank you, Teodora. Okay, I can quickly share my screen then. And I want to start by asking our audience if you have any experience with developing, or are you more of a business user of our platform? I'm just curious. You can just answer in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. Okay. So citizen developers, I see business user development, that's great. So we have all sorts of audience, also no experience. Well, this is great, right? Because we have now Autopilot for everyone. Whether you are a business user, whether you are a developer, whether you are a citizen developer, we have everything you need in just this Autopilot for Everyone product. So we have seen how to build our automation as developers. We have tested them. Now, what's next, maybe as a business user? We have so long believed in the promise of a robot for every person. And while we've had initiatives over the last years with Studio Web, which lowered the barriers for automation entry, there's still so much more to do for our business users. And we believe that Autopilot for Everyone will help us reach the vision of a robot for every person. And basically, Autopilot for Everyone will meet where you do your work, where you do whatever tasks you have on your daily jobs. So that's our promise to you. We are going to hope to incorporate our organizational knowledge into Autopilot for Everyone, so it's going to be way easier accessible to you. We are going to improve the automation discovery and creation. So in case you don't want to see any code, you can just describe to Autopilot for Everyone and it will just generate the automation for you that it can later on be saved and ran. And also it will help you get the information, something like a chat from generative AI. And basically you can also compose stuff in this chat and work with it. Also, it offers you the best-in-class access to the UiPath specialized AI models, whether we are talking here about document understanding or communications mining. Clipboard AI is also included here, and of course enables the IT to govern the data with enterprise security and privacy in mind. So how Autopilot for Everyone works? This is the general architecture. We have the user that is communicating with Autopilot, sending the requests. And Autopilot is able to understand the intent of the user, to assess the next steps, to generate responses, perform the actions, and gather the data that you might be needing from your company. And it will also run some pre-built-in automation, and it will just generate the output optimized for your needs. Just to be clear on this, we have an AI trust layer, so your data is secure. All the privacy concerns are addressed. You will also have access to document understanding, Clipboard AI capabilities directly within Autopilot. Okay, that's great. Autopilot can also work with other AI assistants. And whether we are talking here about maybe Copilot or any other assistant you might have, of course, we can integrate and just help you have all the information that you need in just one place. Great. Now let's see it working together. Okay, I have a very nice use case prepared for you. I will act today as the front officer for a bank, and I usually receive emails that are loan request submits that I will need to go ahead and process. And the loan request looks something like this. I just get the information about maybe the requester name, the income, and so on, and also maybe some form of identification that I can work to extract the information from. Okay, great. I will just start my day as a loan officer with saying to Autopilot to get the loan request that I received via email today and just prioritize them by amount. And Autopilot, what it's doing behind the scenes, it is searching the output of an automation that has already ran, because I have run this demo before. I'm going to be honest with you, and I already have the information stored. And in order to help me work better and faster, it will just be based on that data. Of course, you can just say that you want to refresh the data and so on. Great. Now we have seen that there is a loan request, and the smaller amount, the bigger amount is actually this one that Evelyn has raised for me. Okay. Autopilot has also downloaded the photo that I can just drag and drop in here. And I will say that I want to extract the personal information for the loan approval. And as I told you, Autopilot has access to clipboard AI and also all sorts of type of extracting the visual information, and it will extract the information from this photo for me. And as you can see, I don't need to, understand any types of form of identification anymore. I can just say to extract this data. Okay, now let's go ahead and submit the application in our internal system, which in my case is UiPath. Okay, and I will tell Autopilot to do exactly that. And it will suggest an automation for me. This automation was pre-built, okay? And if I will click here, it will expand to all of the input parameters that this automation needs in order to run. And as you can see, it already pre-populated the fields that I would need for this automation to run from the chat context. So in this way, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to type anything. I just have to orchestrate a bit what is happening, because Autopilot is able to put all these pieces together for me. Now I will click run here. And now this is an UI automation that is going to start, and it will fill in into the UiPath application all the data that is needed. It will click submit, and it will extract the interest rate that is 4%. And this is going to be the output I'm going to want. Okay. And as you can see, I got this message that the loan was successfully submitted. The interest rate was 4%. Now let's move on. And normally as the front officer, I would just verify against an existing rate if the rate is actually valid. Maybe it's too high, maybe it's too low. So I will say to Autopilot to just compare the loan rate that is on the market today and just show it to me as a chart. And now Autopilot is going to go ahead and run some automations behind the scenes, okay, that will extract me real data. And that is one of the differences that we have seen, and also you can see how it's working against other LLMs that have access to only the data that they have been trained on. Now, this one is actually going to fetch real data that I can work with. Okay. Let's see. I will stop it for now, and I will try it again, and hopefully it will do it for me. Okay, never mind. Let's see. I can formulate it. It's an iterative process. So I can say fetch the loan rate market. And yeah, let's see now. Okay, now it's running Google search in the background. Okay, and Google search will return some rate that is going to be a comparison rate for me as an agent. Okay, and the mortgage approximately is 6.8. We are at 4%, which is lower. This is great. We can move on. I will then say to Autopilot to modify the loan agreement contract with Evelyn's extracted data and the obtained interest rate. Now what Autopilot is going to do, it will ask for my SharePoint where I would like to save this data. I will provide it exactly that. And this is how I can work alongside with AI and Autopilot in order to automate all of my tasks. Okay, it will suggest a modifying loan agreement automation that just had all the data pre-filled for me, and I can click run. Okay, and now you will see the automation working. Basically what it's doing, it will identify the borrower name, the borrower address, and it will replace that information with the data extracted from the document. Okay. Okay, now if I go here, I can, in my documents, I can find the new document that was generated. It's this one, a few seconds ago. And this is how the loan agreement looks like. Of course, it has all the data changed and Evelyn just needs to sign it. And Autopilot was able to successfully identify the fact that normally I would just send this by a DocuSign document for Evelyn to sign. And this is exactly what I'm going to do. And it basically inferred the recipient email, also the recipient legal name. The recipient email, if you remember, is from where we first just stated that we want to get more information about the loan. And this is where it knew that indeed this is the recipient email. I will click run here and that will just go ahead and send the template in order for Evelyn to sign. Okay. That is great. Now, from any moment now, the email will just get into my inbox and I can just review it, sign it, and send it back. And this is how me as a front officer, I was able to work with Autopilot in just one window and get all the information that I needed in order to submit for this loan and to generate the document that I sent out for signing. Okay, and this is how it looks like. And of course, you can just sign it here as Evelyn to accept the loan agreement. Okay, that is great. I will go ahead and just focus on what other use cases you might identify with Autopilot. We have seen how it works for a UI bank front officer, but these use cases are so much more than this. You can, maybe if you work in HR, you can use it in order to onboard employees. You can perform time off requests, do some search in your enterprise knowledge, do some training, learning, development signups, digital paperwork, document report generations, and so much more. Okay, you have seen how Autopilot work with these automations and how they look like. But now, in case you want to build them, we have made it very easy for you to integrate your own automations into Autopilot. Because since you are going to most likely have this on your laptop, I think it's going to be of more value to you if you will be able to customize it with your own day-to-day automations. And I'm going to show it to you how you can do that with the template that we have prepared. So this is the template that I'm going to also share it with you, and I hope that Christina will help me with that, regarding how you can compose your own automation that you can integrate in Autopilot. Well, the most important aspect is that we have here the label Autopilot, okay? And this is how it's going to let the system know that this automation should be running inside Autopilot as well. And basically, we are going to follow the best practices for attended development, and we are going to try to feel how the user is seeing errors and everything. This is why we have a try catch here, and normally this is where all the steps of your automation should come. And in case there is a result, you will want to capture that and just provide a nice user-friendly error so the user understands exactly what happened there. And of course, we have introduced also a test case. And in this test case, you will want to run your micro automation that has the arguments that you have identified, whether they are required or optional, and see if indeed there is no error. You can customize this to fit your own needs. You can introduce your own automations into Autopilot in order to make it more suitable for you and your needs. And yeah, I don't know, happy automation and happy usage of Autopilot. If you have any questions.
Alina, we have quite some questions in the chat, and maybe we could go a bit through the questions we have in the chat first, and then we can open up the mic to the rest of the audience.
Okay, sure.
So we have first from Ade here, says, thank you, Alina. How does Autopilot interact with two-factor authentication? In the case of login to an external application, example, a banking platform.
Okay, great. So in case of MFA, as you have seen, I am working alongside Autopilot. So if there is an MFA, we recommend the user perform the steps in order to authenticate, and the rest can be followed by Autopilot. So after you authenticate, you can just use Autopilot in order to automate the rest of your case.
Okay, next question is from Mallory. When you use Autopilot in this way, your previous demo, can you access the generated workflow, or is it just for single use?
Well, we are working, so in case there is no automation that has been created already, and Autopilot senses that you will need to have an automation for that, it will generate the steps. And this is what we call AI automation. And that AI automation, those steps that were generated for you, you can go ahead and extract them and just use them later on.
Okay, next we have two more questions from Ruby. Is it having the capability of identifying CAPTCHA?
Well, as I told you, whatever is login purpose and also CAPTCHA should be handled by the user, because the purpose of Autopilot is to work alongside with the user. So I would say from a security perspective, let the user do this, and Autopilot can do everything else.
Thank you. Next question also from Ruby. What is the license requirement for using Autopilot?
Well, Autopilot is an attended process. Okay, so you will need attended, and there will also be a license attached to our Autopilot suite. And yeah, that would be all.
Okay, next one is from Jewel. Is Autopilot automatically available to all web users?
Autopilot is available to all users, whether they are on Mac or Windows.
Okay, thank you. Next one from Vishwari. Do we have to manually trigger all these commands?
No, Vishwari, I recommend it to sort of like view and let let the user handle if they want to run the automations or not, if it's on the production. But of course, you can also, we have a flag for each process that is called auto execute. And we are also working on having in Autopilot the capability to identify if the arguments were inferred correctly if we have a very high confidence threshold to automatically execute. But this is the tag that you can just put for each process in particular. And then you can have it either auto execute or not. I chose not to, but yeah, that is possible.
Next question is also from Vishwari. From where can we get Autopilot automation templates to customize it?
Yeah, we are, because currently UiPath Autopilot is not GA, it's in private preview. We are going to, so I will share it with Christina, and Christina can share it with you, but we are planning to have it within the studio templates that you can just access it inside the studio templates. Yeah.
Okay. So we will pack the resources up, and you will find it on the event link, and you will receive a wrap-up email after this event today with the recording and the deck from the event, and you will also be able to access the resources given by Alina and Teodora following this session. And now maybe we can invite you all to unmute to ask questions live to Alina or Teodora. No more questions? We have 10 more minutes at least, so you can freely unmute and ask your questions now if you have any more curiosities about Autopilot. I see we have only thank yous in the chat. Alina, would you like to have like any final words on Autopilot or any completion to the presentation? We have a lot of compliments in the chat for the presentation, so for both presentations.
Yeah, thank you so much for all the kind words. And we are really hoping that you will give it a try. We also have a submit feedback where you can let us know whether you need more functionality in Autopilot. We are planning to just patch everything that a business user would need in one tool. But of course, if you need anything else, let us know. We are very happy to receive any feedback, and we just want to improve this experience for you.
Thank you. Teodora, any completion to your presentation earlier?
Yeah, same as Alina mentioned, you can always go on our forum, and the idea would be to have as much feedback as we can, so we can really develop this new tool, which is in the first version, let's say.
Okay, then seeing as there are no more questions from the audience, thank you. Okay, Ade, would you like to ask a question?
Thank you. You may have covered this because I joined late, sorry, but I just wanted to check if if Autopilot can actually trigger like an attended automation, if you can just have it do that on your behalf.
The Autopilot for everyone.
Correct.
Yes. I can also quickly share my screen and explain a bit how it works. So this is UiPath Assistant. This is the repository where you can see all the available automations. And as you can see, Autopilot is one attended process that is able to, create this very nice chat experience, gather all these tools in one process, and also invoke other automations that might be very handy for you, and combine them with generative AI in order to let you have the output and experience that you would want in order to just, create the business processes for you. So yes, the short answer to your question is yes, it is an attended process.
Yeah, and then you did mention that it works with Gen AI. Does it also, I'm guessing if it has to do like document extraction, pair with specialized AI as well?
Yes, exactly. So my example earlier was with an ID, okay, that looks something like this. And what you can do is you can just provide it here and you can just say extract information from this ID. Okay, and Autopilot will extract it for you, and it works good with documents as well. PDFs, CSVs, whatever you would have.
Yeah, low fidelity documents.
Sorry?
Low fidelity documents, like in case of documents that maybe have some handwriting or like.
Yeah, so we have our document understanding model. So it's our document understanding model is able to understand that. So yeah.
Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
There is one more question from Mallory. Mallory, would you like to unmute? Hello, Mallory. Okay, I don't think we can hear Mallory. Maybe there's a connection problem. The question is, when are you aiming to release Autopilot within Assistant like this?
So our plan is 2024.10. So in October, we are planning to have it. Yeah. As of now, it's in private preview. If you are interested in it, I really recommend you to sign up for that. And maybe you will have early access.
Okay, thank you for that question, Mallory. No problem with the mic, we understand. Any other questions? Okay, then I think maybe we can wrap up today. Thank you very much, Teodora and Alina, for joining us for yet another year in Women Automation and for this very, very nice session on Autopilot and AI for everyone. I see the feedback is absolutely great, and I think I will send it to you so you can read it and rejoice in it. There is one more question now. Sorry, not related to this, but where can we get the recordings of previous sessions? I will answer to that, no worries. We should get the program page. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you again to our mentors, Alina and Teodora, for joining us today. You have their LinkedIn profiles in the chat, so please, if you wish, connect with them on LinkedIn. Yeah, see you in our next sessions. I hope this experience with Women Automation this year was again a very exciting and informative one for everyone, with inspiration and technical trainings and mentorship and career orientation as usual. So a bit of everything for everyone. And I think we will keep going for the year with sessions for women and with the category of Women in Automation. Thank you all again, and see you soon in all the other sessions we make. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.